Hey guys, welcome back to Ouch Mountain. So today is the day I get to fire up our wood stove for the first time this season. So y'all stay with us. So here in East Tennessee, we have been a little bit spoiled lately. The temperature's been in the 70s and even in the low 80s recently, but then it abruptly dropped and has gotten down in the 30s and then even a little bit down into the 20s. And I don't do very well when it's cold, especially when it's cold in the house. If I'm cold, I'm lazy, so I figure it's time to get moving. So it is time to fire this thing up. I have just a little wood here beside the stove, but we're gonna need a little more than that to get going. And this has been sitting out in the weather, so I probably need to get a little bit of dry wood to get started. So I'm gonna head to the woodshed and load a little up. The other thing I don't need to forget is to take that bucket off the top of the chimney. We cap that every year just to keep the rain out of it. So it would be a bad thing if I forgot to take that off. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this bucket right now before I do forget that. And when you don't have a ladder handy, you just have to make do with the next best thing. Girls, y'all ready to go? Here we go. I've got a little bit of wood here to choose from. I think I'm gonna take it from the second stack. It should be pretty dry. What you girls doing? That's a pretty good start. Are y'all gonna scoot over? Y'all love helping with firewood, don't ya? They think this is their Polaris Ranger, not ours. All right, I'm ready to lay this first fire. I've got to get some paper in here, a little bit of kindling, and then we'll be ready to fire this thing up. So the fire started. Now I'm going to load it up with some bigger wood and see if I can get this fire to catch. Looks like the fan is going to help me get this going. All right, I'm gonna close this bypass door and we'll check on it here in a minute. So we have gotten this stove fired up and we are looking at our little fire star here on the side of the stove. It says it's 7% efficient and the temperature is 64 degrees. I'm gonna take a peek inside and just make sure that the fire is still going. Looks like it's going pretty good. I'm gonna add a little more wood to it. Last piece for now. I'm sure you can hear that fan running, and the fan is going to run until the water temperature reaches 185 degrees, and then that will shut off, and the fire will just kind of maintain itself. But right now the temperature is about 84 degrees, so we got a little ways to go before that's going to shut off, but it is rising quickly. All right, it has been about 30 minutes. Let's take a peek over here, see what's happening. It looks like we are burning at 100% efficiency. That's where we've been. And the temperature is 94 degrees. So we are climbing. Just a little ways to go. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of time to learn our new stove, to learn how full to fill it and all of those things. We had had our other stove for quite some time, I think since about 2008. We had that stove and had to replace it, and so we're excited to see how this central boiler is going to work for us. We're excited about its efficiency. This one operates just a little bit differently. It seems pretty user-friendly if I can operate it, and just can't wait to learn all about it. So we're excited about this season, because last year we had a couple of fires in it in the spring just to kind of get it up and going and test it out, but this will be the season that we learn a lot about it. So it has been running for about 45 minutes, and the temperature in the house is up 1 degree. We're up to 62, a whopping 62. So it has been running for about an hour now, and we are at 130 degrees. That's pretty good. All right, so first I am gonna open the bypass door with this lever and let a little bit of air get to the fire, and that way the fire doesn't come out the door as soon as I open it. We're gonna wait about 15 seconds and give that a chance to let some air get to it, and then I will crack this door just a little bit. I don't want to open it wide because the fire can blow out toward me, so I'm just gonna open it just a little bit. The fire is burning pretty good, but it has used up a lot of the wood that I put in there. I didn't fill it all the way anyway, so I'm going to add a little more right now. That is going pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this door. I had not filled it completely with wood. I filled it up a pretty good ways, but like I said, I'm not exactly sure. The old stove we had, we sort of knew how it operated. This one, it's still a learning curve, but we will get there, and I'm sure it's going to serve us well. You can see that smoke really pouring out the top there. All right, and now I'm going to close that bypass door. So this fire star technology is really handy. We haven't totally figured it out yet, but as I was looking at it, it was showing me that the efficiency was going down even though the temperature was rising. I figured it maybe needed a little bit of wood. That was just kind of a guess, but I added a little bit of wood to it, and everything is improving. Now we're back up to 100% efficiency, and we are at 180 degrees, so that fan is going to kick off very shortly. I said before, we haven't totally figured things out with this stove yet. We just ran it a few times in the spring when we installed it, and this is the very first fire of the season, and I had the privilege of getting to have this fire. Like I said, Jason is out of town, so he's not here to help me with it, so I'm trying to learn this on my own, but seems pretty straightforward. The temperature's at 186, and you can hear that the fan just shut off. So the water will continue to circulate through the tubing that goes into the house and under our floors and heats the floors, and it will return to the stove to be reheated. Once the temperature of that water drops below, I believe, 165 degrees, then the fan will kick back on, the water will be reheated, and then this cycle will continue. So it took just a little over 2 hours to get to this point for it to heat all the way up and for the fan to shut off. So I had to leave for a little bit, and I came out here to check the stove. It's gotten dark on me, but it is showing it's 100% efficient in the reaction chamber and 176 degrees. So as you can hear, the fan's back on, and I'm gonna go in and check the temperature in the house, and then I'll probably come out and load the stove again before bedtime. So the temperature is now up to 64 degrees. It has raised the temperature in the house 3 degrees since I started the fire. And it usually takes a while for the house to get warm because there's a whole lot of cold air in here. So it usually takes a little bit of time for it to warm up, but once it does, it's pretty easy to maintain that. So the temperature, it looks like it's at 166 degrees and the fan is not running just yet, but it is time to load the stove for the night. It's a little tricky doing it in the dark. We'll be glad to have the woodshed up and we can have some lights on that, but right now we're having to operate by flashlight and just do the best we can in the dark. Let's crack this door a little bit. Let's see if we've got anything burning. This wood is still in here pretty good. It's just kind of charred over, and that's sort of what it does. It sits there and just simmers while the stove is warm enough, and then it'll kick back up here and start heating the water again. All right, I have added a little wood to it, giving it a few minutes. I still have that bypass door open right now because you can see those flames will just come right back out on me. They'd want to seek the oxygen, so just wanted to show you what's going on in there. I'm going to shut this door, close the bypass door, and we are going to call it a night and hope it'll hold us over till in the morning. So we have made it to 65 degrees. It has taken several hours to get to this point, but it started out really cold in here. I mean, it was 61 degrees and had been that way for the biggest part of the day today. So I knew it'd take a while, but once it gets there, it stabilizes pretty quickly. Good morning. So I woke up this morning and it is a brisk 24 degrees outside. I haven't been over to see what the stove is doing yet, but I'm going to go take a look, and I hear the fan running, but I haven't been over there to see what the temperature's doing or to see what efficiency or see if there's any wood, but we're going to go check on that. All right, it looks like the temperature is 167 degrees in the stove and only 18% efficiency. My guess is that we are pretty low on wood, but we won't know till we take a look in there. Again, I'm going to open the bypass door. You're supposed to always do that before you open the stove, so I'm going to open that and then give it about 15 seconds. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and crack this door. I'll crack it just a little bit. Don't know if the fire is still going in there or not. I would not expect it to be this morning, as much as it probably had to run last night in these really cold temperatures, but I will open this door and let's see what's going on. So that looks like it has burned pretty clean. You can see a bunch of ash flying around, but you can see that we do still have some coals in there, and that is always a good thing. It's sometimes a little bit hard to get a fire going from nothing, so it's always good to have a few little coals. It just makes the starting process a little bit easier. Not a lot left this morning. Probably need to get a little paper and put in there, and then we'll get it going. Maybe a little bit too long. I like to close that door and wait and see if we can get it to catch. We'll take a peek inside here in just a minute. All right, let's take a peek in here and see if anything's caught. I see smoke. I do have the bypass door open. Got some flame, so I'm going to go ahead and add some bigger wood to this. People ask us all the time what kind of wood we use in there. Do we use big stuff, small stuff? And honestly, you know, we kind of start with a little bit of paper. We put a little kindling in, put put some smaller sticks, just like you would any kind of fire, and then put some bigger stuff in. But our rule of thumb is, if we can lift it and get it in the stove, we usually do those chunks, because they seem to burn, they char over and they burn for a really long time. So if we can lift it and we don't have to split it and we can get it in the wood stove, then that is what we put in there, especially to hold like overnight and on these really cold days. But right now I'm just using what I've got. Some's little stuff, some's medium-sized stuff, nothing too big today. It looks like we are going pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get this door shut. Okay, looks like we are reading at 162. Fan is running. It's been about an hour and a half. The fan had cut off prior to me coming out here, and the temperature is about 184 degrees right now. And it is burning pretty clean. Looks like we're doing all right this morning. After about 24 hours of running, the wood stove is up to 71 degrees. Well, the temperature in the house is up to 71 degrees. So we're tickled with that, very comfortable. It always takes a while to get it going in the very beginning. So we are tickled with 71. This is day 2 of having the stove running, and I came out this morning, probably should have been out here a little bit earlier, but it is showing it's 185 degrees. And day 2, it's doing pretty good. I loaded it up pretty good last night, but there is still a pretty hot bed of coals in there. More than there were actually yesterday, but there are actually even some flames going. But I'm gonna rake these around, throw a little more wood in. It's gonna get a little warmer today, so I'm not gonna put quite as much wood in the fire today. We just wanna kinda hold the temperature in the house. Thanks for joining me on my first journey building a fire in this new Central Boiler outdoor wood stove. We are excited to have it here, and as you can tell, it takes a little while to get it going the first time you have it running, but as the temperatures continue to decrease and it gets colder, we'll be using this on a daily basis, and we will share more of the daily operation of it. And if you like these videos, remember to hit the like button, click the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to our channel. Send us some comments and share it with a friend, and we'll see you next time on Ouch Mountain.